Hey, my friends, I want to share this really cool thing that happened over the past couple of days. It's about Cracker Barrel, but it's not. Stick with me, okay? Have you ever noticed how some places, or even some things, feel like home? Maybe not even your actual home. It might be that little diner that always smells like bacon and coffee. It might be your grandparents' porch. It might even be a store that reminds you of something safe and familiar. Well, recently, I read a letter from a man named Derek Dickens to the CEO of Cracker Barrel. And it wasn't about pancakes. It wasn't even about food. It was about something much deeper. It was about longing for home. So Derek wrote that when he saw Cracker Barrel's old logo, a man in a chair next to a barrel, he saw his dad, a country boy, a man who helped neighbors fix tractors, a man who didn't know farm to table restaurants because, well, food always was from the farm to the table. So when his dad took him to Cracker Barrel, it wasn't about the biscuits, it was about atmosphere. It was about warmth, about a place where neighbors mattered. But after Cracker Barrel rebranded, this man felt like something was lost. He said, "You can get pancakes anywhere, but what I long for is home." Now that line struck me, because don't we all long for that? For home, for something real, something rooted. Well, today I want to talk about that longing because I believe it points us to something far deeper than logos and restaurants. It points us to God. All right, so let me give you the gist of this letter from Derek because it's really powerful. He told the CEO, "Your old logo wasn't about pancakes or biscuits, it was about home. It reminded me of my dad, of warmth, of something we're losing in our culture." And then he went on to say, "I moved to a new city, lonely, homesick, missing my dad. I went to Cracker Barrel, not for the food, but for the atmosphere. It felt like home." But then he said, "Your rebranding stripped away the heart of what made Cracker Barrel Cracker Barrel. Now it looks like any other chain, sterile, unforgettable." Here's what really stuck with me. He said, "I can get pancakes anywhere, but what I long for is home." That's just not just a restaurant review. That's a cry of the soul. See, I think that's exactly where a lot of people are today. We're surrounded by things that look good on the outside, but they feel hollow inside. Social media shows us filtered smiles, but behind the filters, people are lonely. Businesses spend millions rebranding, but in the process, they lose their identity. Churches sometimes try so hard to be relevant that they forget to be real, and people are tired of it. We don't want sterile, we don't want shallow, we don't want plastic, we want real. That's why nostalgia is so powerful right now. Ever notice how people love throwback music or vintage styles or retro logos? Because it reminds them of something that they're afraid they've lost. But I think even that nostalgia is pointing to something bigger, because what we're really hungry for is not the past, it's home. So let me connect the dots. The Bible tells us we were created for relationship with God. And because of that, there's always this God-shaped longing in us. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says that God has set eternity in the human heart. Think about that. Eternity is woven into us. It's no wonder nothing in this world quite satisfies. The man in the letter, Derek, he longed for Cracker Barrel to feel like home. But even that restaurant can't ultimately satisfy what he's really missing, because deep down, we're not just longing for a front porch. We're longing for the Father's house, heaven. That's why Jesus said in John 14, "In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and take you to myself, that where I am, you may also be. That's home. Not a logo, not even our childhood memories, but being with him. Until then, we feel this ache. Hebrews 11 talks about heroes of the faith who admitted they were strangers in exile here on earth. It says they were looking for, quote, a better country, a heavenly one. You know what that means. Homesickness is part of faith. Here's the good news. While brands change and culture shifts, God never does. Hebrews 13:8 says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. That Cracker Barrel logo may change. Actually, it's changed back already to the old logo. Your neighborhood may change. Your family dynamics may change, but God remains steady. In him, we can already taste a bit of home. Psalm 90, verse 1 says, Lord, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations. Think about that. God himself is our home. When we're with him in prayer, in worship, and in his word, we find the thing our souls crave. That warmth, that rootedness, that realness. So let me talk to you personally. Maybe you felt it, that ache, that homesickness, that sense that the world is moving too fast, changing too much, and you can't quite find your footing. Friend, that's not just nostalgia. That's your soul longing for God. He's inviting you, not to biscuits and gravy, but to himself, to the kind of love and stability and home that you were made for. If you've never put your trust in Jesus, maybe today's the day. He's the only one who can satisfy that longing. Everything else will change, but he won't. And if you already know him, maybe today's reminder is this. Don't look for home in what can be taken away. Logos fade, restaurants close, cultures shift, but God remains. And in him, we're already home. So next time you're craving biscuits and pancakes, sure, enjoy them. But remember this, you can get pancakes anywhere. What you long for is home, and home is found in him. Well, that's today's conversation on Behind the Mic podcast. I'm Mike Stone, and if this resonated with you, would you do me a big favor and share it with someone who's feeling homesick? Maybe not for a place, but for something real. Because I believe God wants to use this homesickness to draw us closer to himself. Until next time, remember, God sees you, he knows you, and he loves you. And in him, you are home.